Okie dokie. Time for part 3, looking at black. After I finished the blue stream, so I got one viewer. I think they stayed for like 9 seconds. So we're going to set our goal at 2 viewers this time. Just to review, white, I think, was stronger than blue. Let's check out black. All right, first up, we've got Abyssal Gore Stalker. It's cool. Center, like producing some 1/1 artifact tokens out of. So maybe white black is going to be have some sacrifice synergy, or you're sacrificing 1/1s, they're sacrificing big stuff. With sacrifice synergy, this seems like it could be really good. It kind of, obviously it's a build around, but it seems like it could be really, really strong. In limited, it's not often that you have a really big board state. It can happen, but usually getting rid of 2 of their creatures is pretty good. It depends on what they're running to. I mean, if they just have 2 little dinky ones. So yeah, if you're playing like a best of 3, this potential could be a sideboard card for best of 1 on Arena. Yeah, maybe you have to be careful. I don't know. Your deck has to really be okay with sacrificing 2 creatures for this to be okay, obviously. All right, next up, Akalog's Deepest Betrayal, 2 black, 3 other. Legend, and here's the god. I like that it's a bat god. That art is really cool. Flying, lifelink. Okay, so I was wrong. I guessed that the black god would have menace. Flying and lifelink, 2 abilities like that. That's pretty strong. Whenever Aklazat's attacks, each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, create a 1/1 black creature token with flying. When Aklazat's dies, we transform it. Okay, super strong. And the land, transform Temple of the Dead, activate only if a player has 1 or fewer cards in hand and only as a sorcery. So very easy to activate this. I mean, okay, so only as a sorcery. So if they kill it on your turn, this is coming back the same turn. This is very easy to get back. It's also easy for the other side to keep it away. Holding cards, like is a good strategy in limited. Usually you want to hold your lands late in the game, at least 1 land. So you could be kind of prepared for things like this. But if this gets an opportunity to attack and smash, it's really, really bad for you. So yeah, it's a bomb, of course. I think this is the best one so far, with blue being second and white being third that we've seen. Yeah, super big bomb. I don't know how I feel about these alternate arts. To be honest, I'm not. It's cool, but I think I still prefer the regular card front. All right, Acolyte of Aklazat's. 1 black, 2 other. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And okay, so black is going to have a lot of sacrifice synergy. Loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. If you have the right things to sacrifice, this is going to be a good common. 1/4. It looks like this format's going to be slower. I like Acolyte of Aklazat's. I don't like having to say Aklazat's a lot. Next up, another chance. 1 black, 2 other instant. You may mill 2 cards, then return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. You may mill 2 cards and return up to 2 creature cards from a graveyard to your hand. That's kind of cool. 2 cards. It's pretty good. I mean, this is basically like draw 2, but you know you're getting creatures. This is going to be better, I'm guessing, with blue-black, which wants to mill itself based on what we saw out of blue. I think this is a good card. You don't want too many of them, but I think you want one, even if you're not blue-black. All right, Bitter Triumph, 1 black, 1 other. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card or pay 3 life. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. This is the nuts. This is really good. Bitter Triumph. I mean, 3 life is a small price to pay for getting rid of a bomb. This is very, very good. And late in the game, discarding a land is not a big deal. And discarding to potentially help your descend is really nice. Yeah, looks like black-blue pairing has a lot of good options here. Looks like black-white will be sacrifice, black-blue will be self-mill. All right, Bloodletter of Aclazats. Man, I'm going to have to say Aclazats so much. I don't like that. I think I'm pronouncing it right, Aclazats, but tell me if I'm not. 3 black, 1 other. Vampire Demon flying. If an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. And they got to clarify that damage causes loss of life. The 3 black is pretty oppressive here. That's not going to be easy to cast on turn 4 most of the time. Every once in a while you can go monocolor in a draft when all the stars align, but it's very rare. I mean, it's good. It's really good. I mean, it basically gives everything you have double strike is a way you can think about it. I mean, not in combat damage with other creatures, but whenever it hits the other side, it kind of gives them double strike. And if they play their own Bitter Triumph to get rid of your Bloodletter, it's costing them 6 life. So this is very strong. Very, very strong. It's a mythic, so what would you expect? It's a bomb. Bloodthorn Flail, 1 black. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. Equip, pay 3 or discard a card. Good discard outlet if you need that. But ultimately, I think... if you need a discard outlet, this is good. This is fine. I think one of these is okay in your deck. If you've got, Descend, other synergies with discarding. All right, Bringer of the Last Gift. 2 black, 6 other flying. When Bringer of the Last Gift enters the battlefield, if you cast it, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then each player returns all creatures cards from their graveyard that weren't put there this way to the battlefield. So, enters the battlefield, if you cast it, each player sacrifices all the creatures. Then each player. Okay, so it's living end on a creature. That seems good. Flying costs 8 though. 8 is a little tough. And this isn't always going to be in your favor, this effect. Let's see, it's a good come from behind card though. That's what you want from an 8 card cost card. Can help you come from behind. You definitely play it. But I think it's going to disappoint sometimes more than you might think. But yeah, it's good. I mean, 6/6 flyer, obviously good. Blood Rage Mycoid. 1 black, 3 other. Creature fungus. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, create a 1/1 black fungus creature token with this creature can't block. Very easy to get a permanent into your graveyard, especially with all this discard. Blue-black is going to like this. 4/3 is not a terrible stat line. Could be better, could be worse. I think this is good, actually, especially considering you may be doing things like sacrificing creatures to ping Sacrificing creatures to Abyssal Gore Stalker. Something like Blood Rage Mycoid can enable a lot of stuff. So I see Blood Rage Mycoid as being a pretty good common for black. Canonized in Blood. 1 black, 1 other. At the beginning of your instep, if you descended this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Sacrifice it, create a 4/3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying. Okay, that's a little versatile. Enchantment comes down early. I haven't seen a lot of enchant. I don't think I've seen any enchantment synergy in part 1 or part 2 with white or blue. So that's unfortunate for this card. But descending is very easy. +1/+1 counter. You know, white had that synergy with +1/+1 counters. This could be okay. I think black-white is where you want to play this so far is what we've seen. But I haven't seen green or red yet. I think it's okay. Chupacabra Echo. 2 black, 2 other. Fathomless Descent. When Chupacabra Echo enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. That's really good. That's very strong. Kill their creature, and you get a 3/2. Obviously, playing this on turn 4 with nothing in the graveyard is not a good idea. So if that's all you have to do, you're in trouble. But Chupacabra Echo will be popular, uncommon, and probably best suited for blue-black from what we've seen. 1 black, 2 other. Corpses of the Lost. Enchantment. Skeletons you control get +1/+0 and have haste. Now, remember that blue enchantment turns your thing into a skeleton, so this helps it. When Corpses of the Lost enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 black skeleton pirate creature token. At the beginning of your instep, if you descended this turn, you may pay 1 life. If you do, return Corpses of the Lost to its owner's hand. Okay. Okay, so you gotta, I mean, this would be, you kind of wish this was 1 black, 1 other, not 2. Paying 3 each turn to keep playing this again whenever you bounce it is not going to be as feasible as you think. But this does seem like a slow format. So I think maybe this, I think this is okay, but you definitely have to have synergy with it. It's not just going to be like an auto include rare. I don't think. Oh, I kind of forgot about the haste. Haste is really nice, actually. But 2/2 is not big. But there's a lot of synergy with this card. I think it's a little bit of a workaround style card. All right, Deadweight, 1 black, enchanted creature gets -2/-2. Been printed many times, always good. In this set, so far what we've seen, still really good. There's been quite a few like 1/4s, not a lot of 2 toughness creatures, but we have seen some, and we have seen plenty of 1-cost 1/1 flyers that Deadweight feels really good shutting them down on. So yeah, Deadweight, I'm going to say very strong. Probably one of the best black commons. Will end up being one of the best black commons in the set. However, if this does turn out to be a super slow format, it is still going to be a great common, but it might not be in the running for best. Deathcap Marionette, 1 black, 1 other. Fungus creature. Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, you may mill 2 cards. Good card. The mill is good for blue-black. Probably we'll have some synergy with green also when we get there. Death Touch is a great ability to have. We haven't gotten to red yet, but there was only 1 double striker in white, No other first strikers. Deathcap Marionette can also be a sacrifice fodder if he's not doing any work out there. I'm going to say good card. But yeah, they can fly over, and it's all right. It's good. I could see it not making the cut if you have a lot of good other 2-drops potentially. But to fill your 2-drop slot, you're not too unhappy, especially if you're blue-black. Deep Goblin Skull Taker. 1 black, 2 other creature, Goblin Warrior. Menace. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Deep Goblin Skull Taker. Cool. So I guess black's starting to feel blue. Blue feels a little all over the place. I mean, black seems. So my rating or what I feel on Deep Goblin, I think that's pretty good. Menace is excellent. It's not going to be hard to descend every turn from what I've seen. So I like it. Deep Cavern Bat, 1 black, 1 other, flying, lifelink. When Deep Cavern Bat enters the battlefield, look at target opponent hands. You may exile an all-in card until Deep Cavern Bat leaves the battlefield. Excellent card. Often in limited, this take the removal spell that would get rid of it, and you don't mind just letting it sit there because it's already done a lot of work, or it takes whatever bomb it is, and they're forced to use the removal spell on this to get that back, but it gives you time to plan and get ahead. And yeah, Deep Cavern Bat, really, really good. Defossilize, 1 black, 4 other, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature explores, then it explores again. I think this is pretty good. 5 is quite a bit because it gets a little awkward if you also have another chance. 1 black, 1 other. Vampire Spirit. Descend 4. As long as there are 4 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, Echo Dust gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. So if you're 4 descend, it's a 3/3 with lifelink. It's okay. It's good 2-drop filler, but for a descend to pay off, I imagine there's going to be better things you want with your descend to pay off. It's not that hard to deal with a 3/3, but at least it's a 2 cost. It's not a bad common, but it gets dead weighted. 3/3. I mean, there's lots of ways white had to deal with this. There was a lot of white. Easy. It's okay. I like it. I want it in deck if I have descend probably, but it can get cut potentially if you got a heavy 2-drops. Physical Offering, 1 black, 1 other instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Draw cards and create a map token. If you got the cheap stuff to get rid of, cheap artifacts and creatures to get rid of, and sacrifice synergy, this is very good. 1 black, 1 other is excellent. And it's an instant. This is actually really good because they have a removal spell. You fizzle it and get something out of them removing your creature. That's actually really good. Fanatical Offering might end up being in the running for one of the best black commons. So far white, I think black actually looks stronger than blue and white. With white coming in second and blue last. Fungal Fortitude, 1 black, 1 other, enchantment aura, flash. Enchant creature gets +2/+0. When enchanted creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner control. Flash is nice. So it's a different way of doing this effect than they've done in the past. I'm usually not a big fan of this effect, but it can really be used this effect can be used effectively. I'm going to cut it. One black, 3 other enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. Put a dread link until end of turn. Then, if there are 3 or more dread counters on it, Lifelink is cool. That's interesting. It's a very interesting dokie. So we found a cave. We may have had there's probably one of the enchantments in blue that did this and white that also were caves. So these are where the caves are hiding. I may have missed the land cave subtype with these others. Let's see. Is this cave? No, it's a vehicle. Artifact land. That's not a cave. That's a legendary artifact. Just a land. Just a land. Same one. Well, so this artifact maybe is. No, it's a golem creature. This turns into an artifact. Blue is definitely a heavy artifact. So blue-white is going to be artifact synergy, which doesn't look strong. So yeah, there wasn't any blue caves, I don't think. This turns into an artifact creature. This turns into our land. No, it's a golem. The dog turns into a land, but it's. This was our first cave. This is black enchantment. That's odd that out of all the blue and white cards there aren't any caves. So this enchantment turns into a cave, and remove a dread counter from Shadow's Lair. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Interesting. Then if there are 3 or more dread counters on it, transform it. Interesting. I don't know. This seems slow and only attacking with 1 creature. We're giving it Death Touch. I guess you could just attack with a little 1/1. Lose 1 life. This is very interesting. This one's difficult to evaluate, I think. So you're making little dudes. You're just attacking with the little guys with Death Touch and Lifelink. You're gaining a little bit of life. It counts as a cave. So we have at least 1 other cave card that might synergize with it. The Leech. It's only going to draw you 3 extra cards throughout over 3 turns. And then it's just a swamp. I like it, but really hard to tell. This is one of I feel like it's a truly unique design that I don't feel like I've had a lot of experience with to be able to say confidently. I'll say that this could work in a slower deck, but it's definitely not going to work in an aggro deck. You don't want to be attacking with just 1 creature and giving your opponent time to recover. So in a slow deck, sure, but shouldn't be taking this if you're taking an aggro strategy. Greedy Freebooter, 1 black common, human pirate. When Greedy Freebooter dies, scry 1 and create a treasure token, and it's a 1/1. Okay, so it's sacrifice fodder. Sorry. Hit the net. Sacrifice fodder. Scry 1 is not that, and create a treasure token. Okay, so it helps you splash. If you for some reason are going 3 colors, and I don't know how viable that's going to be. So far, we haven't seen a lot of fixing, if any. This might be the only. I think this is the first treasure token we've seen in black. Nice little fixer, but you're going to cut them if you have other better 1-drop options, which I think you will. Join the Dead. 2 black, 1 other. Target creature gets -5/-5 until end of turn. Descend 4, they get -10, -10. Excellent. Good card. The 2 black, a little frustrating, but -5/-5 for 3 is really, really good. -10, -10. will kill everything we've seen so far. I like it. Join the Dead, in contention for one of the best black commons. Could be one of the best commons in the set for limited. Malicious Eclipse, 2 black, 1 other sorcery. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. If a creature an opponent controls would die this turn, exile it instead. The exiling doesn't really kind of hurts you and your strategies with black, maybe more than their strategies, depending on the other colors, what we've seen. So this kind of deceptively is a little worse for you. I mean, board sweeper style things like this are always need to get a look. But I don't remember the sets that had these in the past. There was one a few sets ago that was also -2/-2 that got a lot of, coverage like it should. But then by the end of the format, no one was drafting it because it just was underwhelming. It didn't do what you needed to do. It hurt you just as much as it did them. I think there's a chance that could happen with this because it seems like a slow format. But also, you attack with your stuff. They block inconveniently. You use Malicious Eclipse. It's good, no doubt. Just the exiling really worries me that that's going to hurt you more than them, because if you're black, you want to descend. If you're blue-black, and if you are black-white, what we've seen so far with black-white, they're going to be wanting to sacrifice things. So you want to keep your little dudes to sacrifice. I'm going to say, this is great. You want to try to draft it, but I could easily see this being a trap and end up not being as strong in the format as you might first think. Still something you want and can use effectively, but not as high of a draft pick as you might think. Mephitic Drought. 1 black, 1 other. It's little skulls. They look like black mana symbols. When Mephitic Drought enters the battlefield or is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Interesting little artifact, sacrifice filler. This, on the other hand, could be deceptively good. It's basically 2 black, 1 other. You draw a card and lose 2 life. Or draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Which, sorcery speed, which anyone will pay for. You don't get right away, but it gives you a sacrifice outlet. Mephitic Drought, I think, is going to be very good. Now, black-white has the sacrifice. It looks like black has other sacrifice stuff, so you don't have to be black-white to sacrifice. There will be some decks where this is just bonkers and other decks where it's okay. But I think Mephitic Drought deceptively going to be one of the better commons. Preacher of the Schism. Death Touch. 1 black, 2 other, rare, 2/4. Whenever Preacher of the Schism attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. Whenever Preacher of the Schism attacks while you have the most life or tied for the most life, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Cool. It's not going to be as easy to attack. 2/4 Death Touch. I mean, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of times that he's sitting there and you want to attack, but you can't because you think he's got too much value to just trade. I mean, 2/4. You almost would rather this be a 4/2, so that if you attack, you at least have a better chance of killing something. So yeah, you definitely want it. If you're black, it's a good card. As far as rares go, it's definitely not just busted though. You can deal with this, but obviously a good card. I think the rares are at a good power level in this set. They're not too busted, and they seem like they can be dealt with. But yeah, if they're slow, they miss a land drop, or they're not getting permanents down, you slap this down turn 3 and start attacking with turn 4, and it's going to be very bad news bears for the other guy. Primordial Gnaw. 1 black, 4 other. When Primordial Gnaw dies, discover 3. The better Cascade. Might be okay. 5 2 for 5. My mind. Slap and discover on this is nice. Discover 3 is pretty low though. You probably don't want to play a lot of these. This might be something you cut often, but it might slip in as a 23rd card every once in a while. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's a banger. Queen's Bay Paladin, 2 black, 3 other, creature vampire knight. When Queen's Bay, it's a rare 5/4 for 5. Good stat line. Whenever Queen's Bay Paladin enters the battlefield or attacks, return up to 1 target vampire card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. You lose life equal to its mana value. If it would die, exile it. Ooh. Again, a rare that, okay, yeah, good, but not by no means a bomb. 5 for 5/4 is a fine stat line, but it's not crazy. It's a pretty standard stat line, really. No guarantee you're going to have vampires in the graveyard. No guarantee you're going to have the life to bring back, to want to bring back those vampires and pay for it. So it's fine, but this is definitely not something that you go, ooh, now I want to go black after you're kind of already committed to 2 other colors. It's just fine. Rampaging Spiketail, 2 black, 4 other. When Rampaging Spiketail enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Swamp Cycling 2. You can pay Swamp Cycling, makes it great. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible. You have to play this before you attack, which is sad. It's fine. Swamp Cycling is good. 5/6 is a fair body to have with all this other stuff going on. That +2/+0 could go on a Death Touch creature or life linking creature that we've seen here in black. Rampaging Spiketail is definitely a card you will be seeing and playing. Ray of Ruin, 1 black, 4 other, exile target creature, vehicle, or non-basic land. Scry 1. Yeah, it splashes easy. Got a vehicle as well. Non-basic land, so this is a way to get rid of a god. Oh, and it exiles. Okay, Ray of Ruin, very good. I mean, just I know you shouldn't really prepare for a mythic god, but I feel having a Ray of Ruin in my hand when we're getting to later turns is going to make me feel a lot safer in a world with busted gods coming down. So I like Ray of Ruin. 5 is a lot, but I like it. Screaming Phantom, 1 black, 2 other, spirit flying. When Screaming Phantom attacks, mill a card. The flying is nice. I think every color has had a 3 mana cost 2/2 flyer. Seems like there's a lot of flying in this set. Whenever Screaming Phantom attacks, mill a card. It's good for your descend. That's fine, but this could be cut. 2/2 for 3 is not super fantastic. You'll play it every once in a while, but there will probably be better 3 costs that this will end up getting cut a fair amount of time. Skullcap Snail, 1 black, 1 other, fungus snail. When Skullcap Snail enters the battlefield, target opponent exiles a card from their hand. Good card, especially whenever you need sacrifice fodder. Ravenous Rats, all these are always good, But this is especially good with the Exile because of all the graveyard synergy that's going to be in this set. So Skullcap Snail, it might not make a lot of top 5 lists of best common, but it probably should. For black, that is. This card is always good, even if it doesn't have synergy in limited. Because disrupting your opponent's hand on turn 2, even if you don't get to choose, is very frustrating. If they mulligan, it's the sad thing is, if you mulligan once and especially twice, turn 2 Skullcap Snail is basically like turn 2, and in the text box it says, I win the game. It's just so hard to recover. So Skullcap Snail, don't sleep on it. Don't think it'll come back around. You should be taking it early, in my opinion. Soul Coil Viper, 1 black, 2 other. Snake creature, 2/3. Pay 1 black, sacrifice Soul Coil Viper. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. Not great. A lot of setup. You have to sacrifice it. I guess you can bring back your best creature. Yeah, I mean, really depends on what creatures you have in your deck. If you're just exchanging a soul, I mean, you don't want to exchange a Soul Coil Viper just for a Screaming Phantom. It's like that doesn't feel very good. Exchanging a Soul Coil Viper for a Skullcap Snail that you just chump blocked with or something, that feels better, getting more disruption and going on. But and with the sacrifice synergy, this helps you put something into your graveyard. Okay, I'm coming around on Soul Coil Viper. I think it's better than Screaming Phantom, potentially. Souls of the Lost, 1 black, 1 other. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Fathomless Descent. So its power is equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that plus 1. Cool card. The additional cost helps you build up that Fathomless Descent. Later in the game, you're definitely sacrificing a land. Definitely don't want to do that in turn 2. If you sacrifice a token, it's not really helping. Don't want to discard a card. I don't think this is very good, actually. I mean, it doesn't have any other abilities. Doesn't have Vigilance, doesn't have Menace. And, these kind of effects and these kind of numbers, the star about creatures in graveyard, never get as big as you dream. It's always lesser. And we've already seen a little bit of graveyard hate, I believe, in white. I'm sure there's going to be other ways to hate on the graveyard and get rid of things. Yeah, I mean, this is blue-black, right? Blue-black, descending, milling yourself. You definitely want this in your blue-black descend mill deck. But short of that, yeah, it's a rare that you might cut in other decks, really, to be honest, if it's not aligning with your strategy well. Yeah, it's like most of the rares in this set so far. It can be good, but it's not overwhelming by any means. Stalactite Stalker, 1 black. Yeah, I'm going back. Souls of Lost. Sorry, I'm gonna hot take. I may embarrass myself with how this gets up, but I'm gonna say Souls of Lost is not good. Yeah, I think it's gonna end up being a dud rare. Doesn't mean you might not still play it, but I think it's going to end up being a dud. Stalactite Stalker, 1 black menace at the beginning of your instep. If you descended this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Stalactite Stalker. 1 black, 2 others. Stalactite Stalker Target creature gets -X, -X until end of turn where X is its power. So you can sacrifice to kill something. Very good. I'd much rather have Stalactite Stalker than Souls of the Lost. Menace is great. Just keep beating with him. You can sacrifice him in response to them dealing with them, to taking something out. Doesn't seem that hard to descend. Now, I have Stalactite Stalker. Now I will play Souls of the Lost with it because they enable each other. Stalactite Stalker, great rare. Starving Revenant, 2 black, 2 other, rare, Spirit Horror, 4/4. When Starving Revenant enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Then for each card, why not explore 2? Use the mechanics in the set. Enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Then for each card you put on top of your library, you draw a card and you lose 3 life. 3 life, that's a lot. Descend 8, whenever you draw a card, if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That's nice. These Descend 8 cards, I think people might overestimate their ability to get to Descend 8. Descend 8 is quite a bit. I know that Threshold 7 was considered too easy, but remember that could be any card. This has to be a permanent, and I mean, 8 is 1/5 of your deck. 1/5 of your deck of permanents has to get into the graveyard. That's not easy. With that being said, this is good. You certainly play it. You play it on turn 4. If you're ahead on the board, you draw those cards. If you're behind on the board, you ditch them in your graveyard, and you have a good time. And this is a bonkers art. I love this art, actually. Stinging Cave Crawler, 1 black, 2 other, death touch to send 4. When Stinging Cave Crawler attacks, if there are 4 more permanent cards in your graveyard, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. I like it. The death touch helps. I like drawing cards even if you lose 1 life. A lot of ways to lose life in black. I mean, I know that's black's thing. It's in its color pie, but I just mean there are a lot of losing life to draw cards, spells and creatures and things in this set, it seems. I like him. Uncommon is right. If it was common, that'd be too impressive. Synapse Necromage, 1 black, 2 other, creature fungus wizard. When Synapse Necromage dies, create 2 1/1 black fungus creature tokens with this creature can't block. That's fine. Black-white. It's best in black-white from what we've seen. I think it will. It's good. You'll want this. Tarian's Journal, 1 black, 1 other, legendary artifact. Tap to sacrifice another artifact or creature, draw a card. Activate only as a sorcery. Tap 2, discard your hand. Transform Tarian's Journal. All right. Is that artifact or creature? Yeah. When you transform it. Okay, here's our second cave. So caves are going to be black's thing. Then why do we have a white and blue cave benefit? The Tomb of Alakazat's. This must be good. You may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and is a vampire in addition to its other types. Best in black blue from what we've seen. Damn, this is good. This is really good. 1 black, 1 other, legendary artifact. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, it'd be best if you didn't have to activate a sorcery, but that's not a big deal. You're not paying any other price to draw a card other than sacrifice another artifact creature. Discarding your hand is definitely not a big deal. You can do that early to fill up your graveyard. You can do it late, and it doesn't cost you anything. And then I assume when this transforms, it stays tapped. So you want to transform at the end of their turn. And then, yeah, I mean, all the stuff you pitched in there, you just get to start casting. Man, Terrarian's Journal, biggest black rare bomb, I think. That is good. Really, really good. I just got done talking about how Descend was going to be hard to get to. This makes it much easier. This is very, very, very good. Now, you're very sad when you try to get super techie and you go turn 2 Terrarian Journal, turn 3, end of your turn, discard my hand, and then they instant remove the artifact. But still great. You like to see it. Terror Tide, 2 black, 2 other, Fathomless Ascent. All creatures get negative X, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Excellent. Board sweeper. Wow, really good. Tithing Blade, 1 black, 1 other. When Tithing Blade enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Nice. Craft with creature black. Craft creature, 1 black, 4 other. Comes an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Good. I mean, it's not good again. It's not as good against the black-white creating tokens and things like that. But yeah, Tithing Blade good and only a common. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be. I guess there's a trade-off with the crafting things from your graveyard, with black wanting things in the graveyard or black blue, but so maybe Tithing Blade isn't going to be great in every strategy of every color combo in Limited. But what is this? At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life. I think it's really good. Tithing Blade is really good for a common. This, man, it's going to be hard to pick 1 black common that I think is the best. God, black seems really strong. Visage of Dread, 1 black, 1 other. When Visage of Dread enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature from it. That player discards that card. Craft with 2 creatures. Miss. Whenever Dread, oh man, Osiosaur. Osiosaur enters the battlefield or attacks, you may mill 2 cards. May, so you get the choice. That's a lot of milling you can do. I miss the days when the strategy was to mill your opponent, not mill yourself. Feels their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. The player discards that card. It's okay. I don't think it's that great. It's okay. You got to craft with 2 creatures. Yeah, I think this is could be a dud. You're going to miss sometimes getting the creature. I guess turn 2 is fine. I would rather play, I mean, you get to choose, but I think I'd rather play Skullcap Snail. It exiles it, doesn't discard it. Could help their strategy. Vito's Inquisitor, 1 black, 3 others. Creature, Vampire Knight, 3/3, common. Pay 1 black, sacrifice another creature or artifact, put a +1/+1 counter. It gains menace until end turn. Very good. Very good for the sacrificing strategy. I like it, actually. Vito's Inquisitor. I think it's better than the other equivalents in blue. Definitely better than the white one. I'd say better than the blue one at the 4 cost 3/3s. Okay, that's black. And that's, as an old man, that's about the amount of time I have until I have to, my bladder tells me I got to take a break anyways. So I saw one person jump in the beginning. Maybe that was a ghost. So thank you for the 1 viewer. Right now, tier list, I'm thinking it goes black, white, blue. And terms of the three colors I've seen. Black seems by far the strongest of them. Actually might be trouble in terms of being a little overweighted, but we'll see. There's still a lot of this set to see. So thank you if you've watched this. Hope I helped you or you just enjoyed it. And please send me a comment and tell me what I can do to improve or be better. All right. Have a good one.